Hey y'all, how's everybody doing? We are here with a tarot reading. Everybody is welcome. We do not put usually we don't put specific zodiac signs in the title. Anyone may relate to this. Before we get into the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. Okay, I'm seeing a pretty clean looking situation, at least energetically speaking. You may be dealing with somebody that you're having a difficult time with. You may be focusing on transmuting the energy with this person. We're going to get further and see what's going on here. It looks like there's going to be a release. For some of you, this may be somebody that you've been dealing with repetitively. For others of you, it may just be a situation where you're like, why weren't you thinking of me in that situation? Things could have gone differently. But it definitely feels like, maybe feeling like somebody did you wrong in some situation, or that they made maybe a selfish move, something like that. And by dropping the judgment, it's really going to allow you to let go of this, and feel like you can kind of stop fixating on it. Give yourself permission to kind of allow it to leave the brain, because sometimes we don't really get to pick. It's like, why do I keep having this repetitive thought? This is unpleasant. I don't want to keep thinking about this. And lo and behold, there it is. And it may just be something that you're still working out, that you're moving through right now. My name is Gabriella, for anybody new tuning in. So we're looking at the Ace of Wands, the King of Cups. This is an opportunity for you to show yourself how much you've grown. To show yourself how masterfully you are dealing with your emotional and energetic experiences. How mindfully you're handling these situations. Definitely strong association with the past. I'm looking at the High Priestess, which represents the moon, which represents the past. We're also looking at the Six of Cups, which can represent the past, nostalgia, things like that. For some of you, you definitely have some sort of responsibility where other people are looking to you as, maybe we can liken this to a role model. It's like people look to you to see how you handle certain situations, especially on the emotional front. You could be working with someone as well, collaborating. For some of you, you could have clients that you're working with. This is an opportunity to be starting a new endeavor with someone. We're looking at the Ace of Wands, the King of Cups. I'm seeing this be the first energy. I am hearing primary with the King of Cups. Then I'm also looking at the King of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. So yeah, it looks like you're collaborating with somebody on a new project. This looks like a business venture, but it also looks like something either like creative or psychological, spiritual, something like that with the cups. You may even be somebody's, to be in this space of the King of Cups, you may be somebody's support or like a rock for this person emotionally, or you may be somebody that they kind of go to bounce ideas off of, kind of like a sounding board sort of energy. There could be somebody that you're working with. You could be doing a project with this person. Definitely could be finances involved or resources, things like that. This may be something that you're going to like release and put into the world. You may feel like you're running a little bit low on energy right now. Like, I need to take some time for me. Like, you may be feeling a little bit under the weather at times. Make sure that you're tuning in, paying attention to what you need. Also, for some of you too, maybe you feel like you haven't been spending as much time with a partner, something like that, or like your kids or your animals or something. Okay. I will say this too. Okay, I'm getting like double confirmation about this. For some of you, you're not working with another person. These are just two aspects of yourself that you're working with. See these two energies? If this is not you actively collaborating with another individual outside of yourself, then this is you really wearing this cap of being like socially and emotionally responsible while you are doing the work that you're doing. So this is about being, I'm hearing even toned. I'm seeing this be similar to being in like a centered, grounded space when it comes to whatever work environment you're in. And you may, for some of you, you are working with other people too. I am again getting this vibe of like a role model type of energy. So you may have certain people like really looking to you, and you being someone that's really holding it together in a way, not in a bypassing sort of way where it's like, let me just pretend that nothing's affecting me, but more so in a space where it's like, yeah, I'm feeling all of these things, and this is how I enter through my experience, while feeling all of it and still being able to like sit with it and notice it and do whatever it is that you're doing with it, if something at all. Now I'm seeing a big change that you are going through, but this seems like something that is going to be expanding. Like sometimes I'm looking at the Death card and the Seven of Pentacles. Sometimes when it's just the Death card, it can be like something that ends up changing very quickly, where you kind of feel like you got caught in the undertow and you're flipping all around in a cycle, and you know it's going to be a transition, but everything is like up and down and you can't really tell where's where within a situation, or where's what in a situation. The way that I'm seeing this happen though is that you know that there's a change, and it's almost like a rumbling before this thing takes place, and you see it beginning, and you see the wave kind of like starting to build, and you know that you are going to be like a part of this thing and be like really moving, but maybe at different paces throughout. So sometimes things may be changing very quickly. At other times it may be like a more slow, maybe even smoother, even process. And then at other times it can be more chaotic. With the Seven of Pentacles, this shows there's going to be like some sort of duration of you going through a period. And it's going to be like a lot of change that is happening through some sort of drawn out period. For some of you, I'm getting 3 to 4 to 7 months. Okay. This is associated with something that's going to be changing for you. There's also stress that is connected, attached to this, especially because there's a lack of clarity emotionally. And it may have you feeling like maybe not in the greatest spot to be dealing with. This seems like a lot of pressure for you. Okay, so what are we looking at here? I do want to mention this. When I split the deck, I saw Sagittarius, I saw Temperance, and I saw the Queen of Wands. So there may be something that you're slowly building towards, something that you're taking your time with, kind of being in a space where you don't want to be reactive, you don't want to be impulsive, and you want to kind of like more so sit with everything that you're feeling rather than react to it. You want to be in a responsive space. So there's a change that you're moving through. It seems like it's kind of like in the midst of happening. What this looks like to me is that some change has like already begun, and you know that it is happening. So it's already been initiated, but it is also at the same time something that is taking time to happen. Let's associate with this with something. Let's use the example of you moving. So you know that you have to move, okay, at the end of the month. You've been looking for places, you've been searching for places, you've been trying to put the pieces together, figure out how this works. The ending is going to come. I'm seeing there is like some sort of deadline. For some of you, this can be with a job. So many different things that this can be associated with. I'm just picking an example. But it's like a major area of life that is going to be coming to an end for you. And I'm seeing there be a lot of stress that's associated with this ending, with like trying to work things out. It looks like a lot of the stress comes with working with other people. So this can be like working with landlords or trying to figure out contracts, things like that. And I'm also seeing the stress be not only associated with your interactions with other people, but also with this new thing that you're starting. And you're like, I have mixed feelings about starting this. I kind of feel like I was forced into this or pushed into this, because with the Death card, it's like whether you like it or not, this change is going to be happening. With the Seven of Pentacles, it's kind of like, now we're moving fast, now we're moving slow, and you feel like you are just there for the ride. You don't really get to control the pace of it. And then it's like we're moving, things are happening slowly. Things also feel like they haven't fully come to fruition yet. to have the Seven of Pentacles, it's like we haven't seen the end of something yet, or there hasn't been like a fullness or like a completion to something. It's kind of like being mid something, like in the middle of it. And then it's like all of a sudden you kind of like hit a wall and everything comes to an end. And then I'm seeing like a lot of stress roll over because of that. And I'm seeing you be in a space where you're like, there's so much going on. How could one possibly know how they're feeling about this whole process? And I'm seeing you be in a space where like maybe the way that you handle stress is kind of like shutting down, or you could be like limiting yourself in some way where Five of Pentacles can be feeling like a lack of resources. You may feel like there's a lack of support. You may be in a spot where you're like, this isn't going to work out for me, or like the universe really doesn't have my back. There's like a lack of trust in things working out. There's a lack of I am hearing accountability, but I'm not seeing this be like a deliberate thing on your end. What I'm seeing is that you just may be in a spot where like you're really feeling a lack of support that it would be ideal to have within this situation. Because more than anything, the Five of Pentacles is like, this is an awful situation and I don't want to be in it. I'm not feeling great. I feel like my energy isn't where it needs to be. I also feel like a lot of things are out of my hands. And I don't feel good about that either, because I like being in control, and there are just a lot of moving pieces to this. And if I had this or if I had that, that would make this situation a lot easier for me to be coping with. So yeah, it's like having a hard time coping with things that are going on. Okay, let's keep going. I am looking just at Scorpio here that's come out so far. And so I'm hearing stuff about like moving again. There's like some sort of transition that you're in the midst of that just feels very hectic right now. Interesting. So we have the Queen of Swords that's connected with this Five of Pentacles. You want to set boundaries with yourself. Every time you feel yourself kind of slumping, or like you catch yourself limiting yourself, it's like anything that you feel is not coming from a place of optimism, like any sort of narrative that you're telling yourself, when you catch yourself within that, you want to transmute the energy. You want to replace it with something. Because the Five of Pentacles is very much like all of this is happening to me, and feeling separate, and feeling even at times like the world is against me, or like my situation is against me, or like these people are. And again, like feeling that lack of unity, that lack of support. So the mental component is definitely really important, and something that you want to be addressing, something that's going to be helpful to you to address. Because at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want, but I'm seeing your guides be like, hey, you want to watch yourself, and you don't want to get into a space where you're leaning so far into feeling like a victim of your situation that then you start acting out because of it, things like that. Because your body chemically is also going to be affected by your mindset as well. I definitely get a sense of you like having an understanding of the way that your psychology affects you too. What I get too is that this whole situation, it kind of feels like you sort of saw this thing coming, but at the same time you couldn't really do much within your situation. So again, you just had to be along for the ride. And I'm seeing like the tail end of this, at least in this moment of the energy, it feels very, very difficult. It feels like a lot is going on. It feels like a lot that you're psychologically feeling affected by. Resources may be involved in that, or like some sort of role of yours that is happening. For some of you, you could have had a situation that happened at work, or there could be you being cut off from some sort of financial situation or resources, or there's like a role that you were playing that you're not going to be playing anymore, and something is going to be changing because of that, or something happening with coworkers, something along those lines. And feeling like there's more stress and pressure that's associated with like the people around you that you've been interacting with. And again, being in this space of like, I feel like I just got pushed into starting this thing new. And even though I feel at some points excited about this. I'm like, is that really excitement, or am I just experiencing anxiety? Like, what do I really feel about this? And feeling like kind of confused about how you're feeling. And then I'm seeing there be a period of like a break, or just like the waves stop coming in the way that they were coming in, and things become very like serene. It's almost like feeling very like having a huge activation and like falling asleep immediately. You definitely could have had feelings of sort of like being in a crisis, but it's almost like so much is happening that you may not have even like registered how you were feeling, is what this looks like. It just looks like so much intensity that was going on that you may have had a hard time, again, like registering, processing what was happening. Just very, very intense aspect of the journey. So then everything settles down. It's kind of like we got to the top of the roller coaster, and instead of like going down, it just like ends up plateauing in a way. Interesting. So it was like up, 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 and then you thought you were going to go down on the other side, and it actually just goes like this. This is how I'm seeing the energy move. So something may have happened like in a weirdly serene, unexpected way. For some of you, I will say this, like you could have dissociated a little bit from what was going on, or just like checked out a little bit. But I'm seeing this be almost like I was so overwhelmed that I needed to kind of detach myself from what was happening and find that middle ground, however you did for yourself. Like for some of you, you like took a break, or you've been resting, or like meditating, grounding. For some of you, you could have like checked out or something like that. But either way, I'm seeing that this is definitely attached to some sort of healing that you're doing and finding a sense of purpose and direction, okay? For what you need. Really thinking about what you need for yourself. So I am seeing this is going to definitely help snap you back. Maybe feeling like things were like sort of misaligned. Because it just seems like the culmination of a lot of things that have been happening for you right now. And now I'm seeing you're going to be entering into a period that feels more calm, at least for a short period of time. And it does look like you're getting put back into where you needed to go. I will say this too, for some of you, like maybe you were reacting to different things that were happening, but you could have felt like you were acting out in some sort of way, or like getting involved with things that you're like, you know what, that's not really aligned with like my values and stuff like that, or things kind of just got like sort of messy, which again is natural, it's normal, you're living your life, you know, we're not always in spaces where it's like we're in exact alignment, you know, otherwise we wouldn't be here. It's like you fall off the train, you get back on the tracks, all of that stuff. And so you may have felt like you were in a space where you like really were straying from the tracks in a big way. And now I'm seeing this whole situation kind of ends up in like a convoluted way, like bringing you right back to where you're supposed to be. So I'm seeing you be put right back exactly where you need to be. Not that you haven't been where you needed to be all along, but this does feel like a snapping back that's happening. Interesting. I'm getting stuff about like 3D modeling and things like that, 3D design. Maybe something to do with like art or creative design, vision, stuff like that. Okay. So yeah, I'm getting so many images of somebody being in a space where they just feel like everything is happening all at once, and then it's like the lights go out, and then I'm seeing you wake up and be like, okay, I feel like I can do this now. I feel like I'm reoriented in a way where before I felt very disoriented. And now I'm seeing you be in a space where you feel connected, You're feeling much more like yourself than you had been feeling before. I'm also seeing you check in with something and be like, these are my values, or this is how I want to be treated. Something is, yeah, I'm seeing this all be associated with like your values and your standards and things like that. And you see that there was a situation where that hadn't been happening. And I'm seeing you be like, okay, now I'm really ready to pack up. And this seems like a much more organized packing up that's happening now, where it's like, I got to take this out of my room and put it in this box, and I got to like put my backpack on and take everything with me that's precious to me. And now I'm seeing that you're going somewhere, okay? And it feels much more like your choice now. It does seem like you experienced a lot of intensity rather than it being intensity that happened at like peaks and dips. It like all happened at once, and now I'm seeing like you really don't have to deal with any of that stuff. It's like not really popping up anymore, because it seems like it was handled in a much compact, in a very like compact space on the timeline. And so you dealt with it. So energetically, that wave that was coming up, it's crashed, and that is finished now. And so now you're truly moving, and as I said before, you would feel very oriented with where it is that you're going. Like you feel like you have a sense of direction, a sense of purpose. You're feeling connected with yourself. And even if there are a lot of questions of like, I don't know exactly where I'm going, or I don't know exactly how this is going to pan out, I know that I'm at least moving somewhere, and that where I was before, I didn't want to stay there, because when I really check in with myself, I know that it wasn't really connected with me. It wasn't really truly resonating with me, or I didn't truly feel fulfilled with that in the heart space, in the soul space. And so I'm moving now. But yeah, for some of you, you felt very alone during this process. It could have also, yes. I'm getting this very strongly. This is kind of a moment where you're like, wow, like I'm an adult and I have to handle this on my own, and like be my own parent and my own best friend through this situation. So there may have been like a lot of grieving and mourning also that was part of this too. And just the whole letting go of it, the whole transition of all of it. Can we just get one more? Temperance. You are finding your way. Things are not going to be clear immediately for you. Take the time to sit with it. It feels like this. You're sitting in the fog right now, okay? With maybe a lot of different things. Maybe with your emotions, maybe with like where you're going to be sticking your landing, things like that. You can either like panic because you're in a fog, or you can like sit there calmly and be like, okay, like I'm in a fog right now. It is what it is. And you can go through this process in a peaceful way, or you can be thrashing around in it. Either way, it's like the fog's going to be lifted in 5 minutes. So we can either struggle through it, or we can be calm through it and just be like, okay, this is where I am right now. And so it's going to be what it is. But the fog, remember, is transient. It's just a moment in time. And it is not going to last. So you're just in a transition right now. So what your guides are encouraging you to do is just to sit with it, to adjust to it, to adapt, and to be where you are, and to be present, to be in the moment, to be here now. So I'm looking at Scorpio, Aquarius, and Sagittarius. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.